Please accept my humble obeisances. How goes Sri Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj? I wanted to check today. I'm not using the headset. Is it still clear? If not, I will put the headset again. How is the volume for you all?
It's very clear, Prabhuji.
Very clear? Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. So let's go through. I will offer brief prayers and we'll go to the nice section of Srimad Bhagavatam again. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktamunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, let me share my screen so we can start from there. Put in the slideshow more also, so when it comes up. So we're starting from the 5th chapter today, having completed the 4 chapters. A very brief overview of what we covered and the context to get into the next verse, next chapter. So essentially, we remember the first 3 chapters. What happened? The 6th canto started because Parishad Maharaj was so concerned with compassion for the people who are suffering in the hellish planets. So he wants to make sure nobody goes to there. So with that understanding, with that compassionate heart, he asked Sukadeva Goswami, how can people be saved from going into hellish planets and suffer their terrible pain? Then Sukadeva Goswami established the topmost position of bhakti, especially the chanting of the holy name, that will help in as a best atonement, as a best process, the most auspicious process to avoid not only hell, but to get the highest benefit of developing Krishna Prema and going back to spiritual world like that. After to establish that point, after telling the theory, so to say, and he tells the Ajamila pastime as a case study to demonstrate that how this can happen like that. So then through Ajamila pastime, he showed how Ajamila uttered the whole once and Vishnu Dutas protected him from Yamaduta's bondage. And then Ajamila got the second chance. He practiced devotion service and then he went back to Godhead, to Vaikuntha Loka. That he explained in the first 3 chapters essentially. That was the supreme position of bhakti with a case study of Ajamila. Then Parishad Maharaj asked a question in the 4th chapter beginning, where after Yamadutas went back to Yamaloka, when Yamaraja heard everything, what was his response to them? Please tell me more like that. Then he describes how Yamaraja tells them the position of the Supreme Lord. Who is the Supreme Lord? I'm not the Supreme Lord. There is Supreme Lord above me. And then he tells them position of the devotees also, glorious position of devotees, especially Vishnu Dutas. Also he explains their beauty and all that. So position of Supreme Lord, position of devotees, and then the glories of the holy name he describes. And then after telling all that, he tells them who not to bring. He says devotees who first offered obeisances, who chanted the holy name, who took darshan of the Lord. Like that, so many things he says, all the devotional activities. Whoever is doing like that, such devotees don't bring them. And the non-devotees who don't do these things, bring them like that. So then it's described at the end of the chapter that Yamadutas not even look at devotees, forget about getting them or going to them like that, going to them and face to face like that. So then in the next chapter, Parishad Maharaj inquires about Visarga or the secondary creation. So that's where we'll hear about Daksha. Sukadeva Goswami describes Daksha taking the second birth from Prachetas. And Daksha did the austerities and offered prayers to Supreme Lord. And all this is coming up. In the end of the last chapter, where we left was Daksha prayed to Supreme Lord after Supreme Lord appeared. And then Supreme Lord blessed him that your desires will be fulfilled. Don't worry. And you can marry this girl called Asikni. And through her, you can create progeny to fulfill your service of populating the universe with the people. At that time, after saying that, Supreme Lord disappeared. Then Daksha married Asikni. That's where we left, and he got children also. Let's go through this chapter now. So this is the high level section of this chapter. The chapter ends with Narmani cursed by Prajapati Daksha. So generally, that's how Srimad Bhagavatam chapter titles are labeled. What is the prominent activity in that chapter? That's what the title is labeled, not the starting activity of that chapter, like that. Now going to three broad sections. Daksha had two sets of sons. First 10,000 sons, and then 1,000 sons. So both of them, Narada Muni trains them nicely to take up devotion service and sannyas path. That's when Daksha becomes very angry at Narada Muni and curses him. Those are three broad sections of this chapter. Going into details now. So Daksha first begets 10,000 sons, and they were called as Haryasvas. And they were all very good qualities, it seems. They were very well behaved, very obedient to the father. So when the father Daksha gave him an order, you should have sons, like that. Then they went to perform austerities. This is a important point that keeps coming up, which is before we do service, we actually do some tapas. Two broad things we need to do. One is taking permission and blessings of our superiors, like Guru and Supreme Lord, of course. Then, second aspect is qualify ourselves with proper preparation we need to do. For example, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, before he started preaching, he did so many years, 9 years, I believe, 9 years of chanting of the holy name regularly for so many hours, most of the day. Like that, whenever we having a service to have children also, that is recommended to do austerities and do intense bhakti before we having children, like that. So they were very properly trained in Vedic culture. So they went to do that proper preparation of doing austerities before. In fact, this is a common thing in Vedic culture also. We know there are four varnas, four ashramas, right? Among the ashramas, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyas, like that four ashramas are there, right? So everyone start in the Vedic culture with proper brahmachari training, because that proper brahmachari training will help somebody to be situated in spiritual knowledge and the purpose of life. So when they're properly situated in purpose of life, then even if they happen to take grihastha ashram, then they're not looking for enjoyment only. They're not thinking, oh, this married life is meant to be enjoyment. They understand the purpose of life, and they also got trained in self-control, and that helps them in grihastha life for them later on. So that is the other principle. Basically, brahmachari training before grihastha, before begetting children. That's the point here. So now, so they went to do austerities. While they were doing austerities, Narada Muni arrived there on the site. And Narada Muni is a wonderful acharya, wonderful spiritual master who knows right time to show up at the right place and for the right people, and to guide them in a proper way to develop in devotional service. He is the expert spiritual master. So he comes there and he observes them, understands that they're actually very pure-hearted, and they're also very qualified for liberation. So expert spiritual master can assess us and see where we are. Even if you speak few words, they can understand where we are, our consciousness. So similarly, Narada Muni could assess the prospective disciples, where they are, how qualified they are, like that. Seeing that, in Vaishnav Prabhu's language, he calls them ripe mangoes, ripe fruit. So that means they're ready for devotion service. He sees them, they're ready for devotion service. So then Narada Muni desires that they should get liberated. Why they should get entangled with married life and slow path of growing? They are very suitable for proper renunciation now itself. He understood that. And then he gives them confidential knowledge of bhakti. So this is important point. Let us remember this. He gives them knowledge to inspire them to take up bhakti, to inspire them to renunciation, to take up renunciation. Because when Daksha curses him, we'll see that how that is not true. He's giving knowledge. Through that only, he's inspiring them to take up renunciation on their own. Okay, that is the principle we can remember. Now, Narada Muni presented an allegory with 10 subjects to them, it seems. Remember, I believe yesterday or day before also we were talking about this point. How sometimes it's suitable not to hit the nail directly on the head. Sometimes it's suitable to share in a subtle way. Spiritual masters like Narada Muni are expert at understanding what is appropriate for what audience, what kind of disciples, like that. So, and of course, Chaitanya Charitamrita also describes sometimes if you tell a class in a simple way for an intelligence audience, let us say you go to IIT and tell them a simple class, they will not appreciate it, seems. Radhesham Prabhu also talks about it, and Chaitanya Charitamrita Prabhu talks about it. So they need to stimulate their intelligence so that they can figure out something from the class, basically. So like that, Narada Muni knows exactly what is appropriate for this audience, his disciples. So he tells in some in the form of an allegory. I'll go through only a couple of them because of lack of time, but I want to focus on the conclusion they arrived at in the last column, basically. This showing what is the Narada Muni's allegory in the first column, and what is the conclusion, Hariswa's understanding of what it meant, and then what is the conclusion they came to. Okay. So first one, this is you not seen extremities of earth. That means their understanding was we see no end to designations accepted by jivas. That means sometimes they'll go to Swargaloka, sometimes they go to Patalaloka, sometimes they become animals, sometimes they become bird, like the different designations they take. But what is the conclusion of that? What is the benefit of engaging in temporary fruitive activity without any cessation bondage, stoppage of bondage, without any freedom from bondage? What is the use of engaging in so many activities, this activity, this activity, this activity, this activity? In fact, we can also observe many times in some devotees' lives, some of us lives, that we may do this thing, that thing, this thing, that thing. But how far is helping me to grow in devotion service? That we need to be carefully to understand. How far is helping me to grow in devotion service? How far is helping others to grow in devotion service? That picture we need to keep in the mind. So that is the first one here is being described. Now, like that, he describes a kingdom where only one man lives. That is describing in the universe only one enjoyer is there. That is Supreme Lord. I am not the enjoyer, you are not the enjoyer, they are not the enjoyer, but Supreme Lord is the ultimate enjoyer. That's what he's telling with allegory. So he's saying, what is the use of working hard for sense gratification without understanding that one person, Supreme Lord? Okay, now that we got two examples, I'll focus on the last column now. Basically, most of these items are saying, what is the use of engaging in fruitive activity? What is the use of engaging in karma, like that, without a higher purpose of things? What is that? We'll discuss. See, first one was without any cessation in bondage. That means if there's no scope for liberation, what is the use of doing all the things? And without understanding Krishna, what do you do? What is the use? For example, Vedasya Sarver Ahameva Vedya, we know. Purpose of knowing Vedas is to know Krishna. If you don't know, even if I read all the scriptures, what is the use? If I don't develop love for Krishna, if I don't develop appreciation for Krishna, if you don't develop gratitude for Krishna, so like that. And then, if we don't know Supreme Lord's abode, what is the use? In fact, in the third canto, you might have heard about the Vaikuntha Loka. So there also the verse comes. Those who don't hear about the Vaikuntha Loka spiritual world, what is the use, like that? Verse comes. Similarly here. So then, and what is if you don't understand the tendencies of intelligence, and if you don't understand how the intelligence is guiding us properly or improperly, and then if you stay in the river of Maya with all the fruitive activities and not cross it, that means not go beyond material world, and if you leave the study of scriptures but do all kinds of activities, what is the use? because scriptures illuminate us what is the matter, what is spirit, and how to practice devotion service. What is the relationship with Krishna, like that. So what is the use with if you do all the activities of karma without studying scriptures? And then if you don't study the eternal element of time, what is the use, like that? So then finally, and not knowing Shastra, yeah. If you're entangled in modes, not knowing Shastra, what is the use of creating progeny also? So finally they came to that conclusion. That means they understood all the fruitive activity is useless unless it's combined, our activities are combined with devotion service. And not only just combined with devotion service should be the primary. Remember, Anjabhilasita Sunyam, Gnana Karmadi Anavrutam. That means Gnana and Karma should not Anavrutam, should not cover Bhakti. That means Bhakti should be top priority. Some Gnana and Karma initially can be there. But as we practice Bhakti, this Gnana and Karma also will go away, basically. Gnana and Karma tendencies in us. So that's what he's talking about. That they understood that they need to worship Supreme Lord, they need to engage in Bhakti. So they finally circumambulated Narada Muni, and they followed the path by which one never returns to the material world. That means they took up the devotion service and successfully went back to Godhead, basically. Now, Narada Muni, after being successful at his mission, Narada Muni left the place. How? By having his mind fixed on the lotus feet of Supreme Lord, and is playing his musical notes on the veena, that we know from first canto that veena is given by Supreme Lord himself, and is glorifying Lord Krishna and lives there, like that. Then Daksha feels bad. Oh my God, Narada Muni made them sannyasis, made them take up devotional service instead of letting them do help in my mission of creating praja in this universe. So he lamented so much. But then Lord Brahma pacified Daksha, saying that don't worry, it's okay, you can have some more children. So then Daksha created some more sons. This time instead of 10,000, he created 1,000 sons, and they were called Savalasyas, it seems. Then Daksha ordered them also to beget children. It's again, remember I was talking about brahmacharya education is important. This is the point highlighted here. Duty of father is to give cultural education. All of us as parents also needs to give the right education for children. Of course, it's a broad topic, but I'll touch on a couple of points. One is it's important to give the children spiritual environment, spiritual experience, spiritual opportunities, so that they can engage in devotional service for very young age. And it's also important as parents to give right value education to children, explaining them why, what they are doing, why they are doing, what they should be doing, why they should be doing. Because as they grow, they will make their own decisions. They will not ask father, mother all the time. So when we do that in the beginning, give the right spiritual experience, right opportunities for them to serve devotees so that they'll get mercy, right opportunities to engage in bhakti somehow or other. Then what happens is, even if the teenage years, they get some gap, but still they will take up because that impressions are there. That bhakti sukriti they developed already so much. So with that, their life can become successful. So back to here. So Savalasvas, these 1,000 sons were purified of all material contamination, it seems, by doing their sadhana. What kind of sadhana? By chanting they were doing, by bathing in the holy waters of the holy rivers every day, and by doing severe austerities like that. And then Narada understood these are also very, very qualified candidates. So understanding that they are also ripe fruits and very, very qualified candidates, he also spoke enigmatic words to them, it seems. We don't hear the whole conversation that Narada Muni did with the second set of sons of Daksha, but we hear little bit. He essentially says, actually, your elder brothers took up the path of renunciation and they're going back to Godhead. No, you're all very affectionate to your elder brothers. So you should also follow their path. And then he says, a pious brother gets the opportunity to associate with Maruts. Maruts are great demigods, basically. They are also sons of Aditi and Kashyap Muni. So then Saulasvas also took to the correct path like their elder brothers, basically. They also took sannyas. And they never came back to Daksha. Now Daksha really became angry now. He thought, see, look at it. He thought he tolerated nicely when first incident happened. He didn't do anything to Nardamani. He's a great person. I'm a great saint. I tolerated nicely like that. But the second time he could not tolerate. He got anger and he was lamenting that my service is gone. My children are diverted by Nardamani, so that they're not able to help me now. Like that, he was lamenting now. And he also not only observed inauspicious signs, he also heard of his sons being diverted to renunciation by Nardamani. Interestingly, here it is described Nardamani not only diverted the sons, he goes back to Daksha, it seems, to see Daksha. So Gauranga Krishna Prabhu writes in his book, why did you do that? Because Nardamani, you will see this in a couple of times in this chapter. Nardamani is very eager to deliver Daksha also. Basically, if you remember from the beginning of the fourth canto, Nardamani helped Swayambhava dynasty kings, Priyavrata. Priyavrata is also blessed by Nardamani. And then Uttanapada also. When Dhruva was in the forest, Nardamani goes to Uttanapada and instructs him. And then we know Nardamani instructs Dhruva, that is very famous. And we know Nardamani instructed Prachina Barhi. And then when his sons Prachetas go for austerities like that. And then he instructed Prachetas also. Of course, Lord Shiva instructs more Prachetas. And then, but they all got delivered. They all got to the right path, basically, either by Nardamani or some other devotee, but they all got the bhakti. So he wants to make sure Haryasvas and Swalasvas we just now saw already. So not only that, he wants to deliver Daksha also. And he thought, because he's going to this anxiety and lamentation right now, maybe he'll develop some detachment also through in the. So this is the right time to give him mercy, like that he thought. That is why Nardamani mercifully went, it seems. But Daksha was in anger mood, and Daksha is in a fault-finding mood. So Daksha started criticizing Nardamani, and this gives us lessons for how we, as whatever little preaching we are doing in our life, we can tolerate opposition while we are doing our service of preaching like that. That is the main theme Prabhupada drives in this purports actually coming up. So now this table shows how in several verses, Daksha is criticizing Nardamani as one way, but actually, Srila Prabhupada commentary tells us what we should be doing as Bhakti Yogi. What is the real position of Bhakti Yogi? Not Daksha is saying opposite or bringing down the devotee's position. Prabhupada is elevating the devotee position so we understand the right level of bhakta or a devotee. So Daksha says, you are an asadu. That means you're imposter. You're wearing a dress of sadhu, but you really don't have sadhu qualities like that in Nardamani. Daksha is criticizing Nardamani like that. And he thinks, I'm a sadhu in Grostha life. Even though I don't have a saffron, actually I'm a sadhu, he's thinking. Saying, not only thinking, he's saying actually. Then he says, you have done injustice by showing my inexperienced son's path of renunciation. This theme comes up. Basically, Daksha's thought process is like this. It's almost like Pravritti path. Daksha's thought process is people need to go through their personal experience themselves. They need to go through brahmachari, they need to grow the life, and they need to see, experience the life in the world, and then understand, oh my God, this is all suffering. Let me get out of here. He thinks that is the right path. They should experience everything, enjoy everything, and then come to their own conclusion, even though that would take millions of lifetimes potentially. That is what his thought process is. That's why he thinks when Nardamani interrupted is the wrong thing, he thinks like that. But that's not a right understanding. We'll see from the right hand side Prabhupada comments. So Prabhupada writes, even if others are accusing us, devotees will continue to preach Krishna consciousness like that. So now next one is, he calls him Nardamani as sin personified Papa. And he says, my sons are not yet free from the three debts. What are the three debts? This is described in scriptures many places. Essentially, three debts are the debts to the sages, debts to the forefathers, and what is the third debt? I forgot what is the third debt. Let me look up also. And if anybody remembers, you can share with me also. Yeah, three debts are here: sages, demigods, and father.
Jivas, all the bhutas, meaning all living entities.
All
Like,
living entities. Thank you, Matai. Thank you so much. Yeah. So like that, basically these are supposed to be relieved by doing proper activities now. For example, by doing sacrifices, by doing reading of scriptures, by having a son. Like that, we're supposed to do so many activities to clear the debts, like that it describes. So now, in this case, that is Daksha's thinking. So you did not, you actually steal their good fortune, like that is saying. But then Prabhupada writes us for us, this is also given in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam also. When we worship Supreme Lord, when we do the service of the Supreme Lord, when we engage in pure devotion service, we'll be freed from all debts. So Vaishnava's duty is to enable everyone to go back to Godhead, like the Prabhupada writes, because that is the highest service we can do. So of course, it is not that we avoid all these. We, of course, we should not take up bhakti thinking that, oh, I can avoid this work, that work, that's why I need to take up bhakti. Not like that. Bhakti, understanding the bhakti is the highest thing we can do in life. Then we take up bhakti. And then when we are properly situated in bhakti, we don't have to do the ordinary regulations that are prescribed in scriptures also. Of course, if they are favorable for our devotion service, we should still continue doing them until we get to the highest platform of devotion service. Then he says, you are devoid of compassion. You spoiled minds of my innocent boys. You are actually defaming the Supreme Lord. Although you move as if like you are a devotee, you are shameless, like that is calling. So Prabhupada is writing, Bhakti Yogi doesn't mind all those criticism people are giving in the material world. He continues with his service mode, like that. So of course, there is a balance here. One is, even a Bhakti Yogi, even a practitioner like us, a devotee, we need to make sure we're not subject of unnecessary criticism. Because if you're subject of unnecessary criticism, what happens? Then we cannot do our service properly, because nobody will come to listen to us. Then that is a disservice. We're not able to do our service properly. So that is also we need to balance. But at the same time, we should not give overemphasis to what others think, what others are saying, and then not do our service itself. That's the balance we're talking about. So now, the last section here in this, okay, one more, I think several more there. Next slide also has there. He says he criticizes him as a breaker of friendships, creator of enmity amongst non-envious. All the other devotees are nice, but you are not nice, he's saying. But Prabhupada is saying, devotees are suhrudam sarvabhutanam. Devotees are friendly to all. Devotees don't create enemies. Of course, some non-devotees become inimical by themselves. But we ourselves don't create enemy. We act in such a way that everybody stays favorable to devotees, favorable to devotion service, favorable to Krishna. So that's why we don't touch the envious people also. Otherwise, their envy will grow more, even more. And then Prabhupada writes, let's be tolerant, merciful, and continue preaching. If you notice the thread, continue preaching, continue preaching. That is the thread Prabhupada is going on in this purpose. Let me see next slide. Okay, good. So then, Daksha is saying, actually, knowledge brings real detachment, not by changing like dress like you have done. So he's saying, you don't have knowledge, you just change the dress like that. He's saying to Narada Muni. He's also accusing him that he did not, he just made the sons change the dress to become sannyasi without giving knowledge. But actual truth is, Narada gave him confidential knowledge, transcendental knowledge, because of which the sons got realization and they naturally became detached and they took up renunciation path. And then he says, actually, they should personally experience misery of false happiness. And that will induce naturally detachment. This is the thing we're talking about. Oh, they need to really experience life. Then they will understand all the problems. Then they will detach. But Prabhupada is writing, material nature induces one to keep on enjoying, even after they face suffering also. They'll think, oh, last time I missed to do this one. Let me try it this way, different way. Oh, last time I tried to enjoy this way, but I missed this one particular thing. Basically changing the parameters and trying to enjoy like that. But automatic detachment is impossible, Prabhupada is writing. In some places it's described that is also possible in some rare circumstances. But most of the people, that path will not help them, because they'll only get into more and more suffering. And then he says, one whose mind is changed by others can't be so renounced. That means you change his mind, so they cannot stay in the renounced life long, he's saying. But Prabhupada is writing, because Narada Muni gave him blessings. With devotees' blessings, detachment is possible. And then he says, you may be forgiven once for displeasing an honest Grihavrata. He's calling himself honest Grihavrata. One who is engaged in household life without sinful activity. That means dharmic life is leading. So forgiven once means last time he didn't say anything to Narada Muni. So Daksha is trying to prove that he's tolerant. So that's what he's saying. Now, next one is, you again created same misfortune for me. That means same means second time. Now he's releasing the curse. He's saying, I curse you to travel all over universe without any residence. You should not have any home to stay. You should always keep on traveling. Prabhupada writes, actually such a punishment of traveling is a boon to preacher. So Daksha was a Gruhimedi. Gruhimedi means one who's not engaged in Grihastha ashram. Opposite of Grihastha is Gruhimedi. Not focused on spiritual life, but enjoying household life. He thought that if you don't have home, that is the greatest punishment. Remember, we were discussing, I think in this forum only, we were discussing how when I think something is enjoyment, something is punishment, I think it applies to others also like that. When I think staying at home and sitting nicely is enjoyment, then I'll think same thing for others. When I think if I don't have the opportunity to stay at home and I'm traveling outside is a punishment for me, then I'll think the same for others. But in case of devotees, they're thinking how to serve others. So the more they travel, the more they can preach. So it's a blessing only like that, Prabhupada writing. So then, now, how did Narada take it is important lesson here. Narada, even though Daksha is accusing him so many ways and is finally cursed also, and Narada is capable of counter cursing him also, but he didn't counter curse him. He very tolerantly accepted the curse because he's such a saintly person. Not only that, interestingly, Narada Muni even now is hoping that he can preach to Daksha and elevate his consciousness. That is the service mood like saintly persons have. He's thinking, Daksha, after he exhibits all his anger, he spits out all the things, tells all wrong things about me. Then he'll see, oh my God, I'm saying so many things, but this guy is so tolerant nicely. He must be really saintly only. Like that, then he will start to repent. Oh, Narada Muni, please forgive me. Out of anger, I curse you like this. Please forgive me like that, he thought. But what Narada Muni thought didn't happen. Daksha was not repentant at all. Even after releasing the curse, even after accusing so many things to Narada Muni like that. Then Narada Muni thought, oh my God, this must be the offense that he did to Lord Shiva in the previous life, that remnants are so tough to clear up. He's still suffering with that remnants of that offense like that, Narada Muni thought it is. So this is what we saw, how Narada Muni guided Daksha's two sets of sons to start the path and devotion service and take up renunciation. And then we heard about how Daksha criticized Narada Muni to keep on traveling without any residence. Now this chapter is a short chapter with lots of names, basically. Remember, one of the original questions Parishit Maharaj asked Sukadeva Goswami before this section was, can you tell me about Visarga, secondary creation? Secondary creation involves population of the world with living entities. So that is why these chapters are coming here. How Daksha and his descendants are creating population like that. So this chapter will go through an overview without reading all the names. Of course, when we are studying Bhagavatam systematically, not as a summary fashion, it's important to read all these verses, because even uttering the names of these people, devotees, most of them, is very auspicious for us also. It's purifying for us. But now because of the summary, we are skipping the names and all that. So although Daksha became disgusted with household life, Brahma instructed him to beget sons again, beget children again. So now this time Daksha thought, oh, if I get children again, sons again, Narada Muni will again redirect them to some place. That possibility is there. Let me be careful. If I beget daughters instead, Narada Muni doesn't do anything with them because he cannot tell them to take sannyas. So let me make that strategy. And he had daughters instead. So this is a great thing. So Daksha is such a great personality. He could have son or daughter as he desired, not an ordinary soul also. Okay. Then in the first three verses, Daksha, Daksha with his wife Asikni, we heard about that Asikni name 2 chapters ago also. The Supreme Lord told marry Asikni, right? So with that wife, he got 60 daughters, it seems. And how the 60 daughters are married are here given here. Some to Yamaraja, some to Kashyap Muni, some to Moon God, some to Angir Muni, Krishasva, and Bhuta, like that. Two wives to each of these three personalities. Now, this is the seed verses for this chapter. Now, the Sukadeva Goswami starts to describe how the descendants came from each of these sections, like that. Each of Yamaraja with his wives, Kashyap Muni with his wives, like that. Each of them. That's what is next set of verses in this chapter, basically. So it starts with explaining Yamaraja with his 10 wives and the descendants. So who are all the children? I'm not writing all the names. I wrote some of the names which I can recognize. For example, Indrasena, Clouds, Durga, Nandi, Kama, 8 Vasus. They are all born to Yamaraja with his 10 wives systems. There are a lot more names. Now go to the next slide. Then see Yamaraja, children were 8 Vasus. 8 Vasus had some more children, like that they're describing some more names. Kartikeya, Skanda, Vishwakarma. We hear the Vishwakarma many times. So like that. And then Bhuta's 2 wives. These three, remember in the previous slide, the three personalities got two wives each, is describing about their descendants. Some of them are Rudras also, some of them, and Pitrus also. And then Vedasira, Devala Muni, we hear about Narada Devala, Asita Devala, like that. So then he described Kashyap Muni. Remember the first section? Let me go back to please. See Kashyap Muni. Yamaraja we completed. We completed these three. Now he's going to Kashyap Muni and then we'll go to Moon God. Kashyap Muni, he says, 4 wives, and with his 4 wives, he got different kinds of living entities. So for human beings, demigods like that is described, right? Demigods and Rakshasas also. Now, birds, Garuda even, Aruna is the chariot driver of Lord, sun god, it seems. And then different varieties of serpents, it seems, like snakes, from Kadru wife, it seems. From another wife also, serpents come. That will come up also, I think. So see, another wife, Kashyap Muni, father, with other 10 wives, Kashyap Muni also serpents here also. And then he goes to Moon. And Moon didn't have any children, it seems. He was attached to one wife, it seems, Rohini, and neglected others. So because of that, other wives went to Daksha, their father. Because all 27 Daksha's daughters, Moon got married, right? So other 26 went to Daksha and complained. And Daksha cursed him that you will go to destruction like that. So Moon god could not get children, it seems. So finally he pacified Daksha and regained portions of his light, it seems. I was also recently went to Udupi Yatra. There I had another pastime where Moon god worshipped Lord Shiva, it seems. When he worshipped Lord Shiva, restored him from the curse of Daksha. That is why instead of completely going away, the moon diminishing totally, 15 days he reduces in size, 15 days he increases in size, like that. That's also I heard the pastime in Udupi describing about Chandramoulishwara deity there. Now here, Kashyapa's further 10 wives with descendants are described, where fishes, ferocious animals like lions and tigers, cows, eagles, vultures, apsaras, serpents, even creepers and trees are born, rakshasas, gandharvas, horses, like that. So basically point is, like this, so many praja are created by Daksha's daughters in marriage with other sages, basically. That's the essential principle to take. Now the end of this chapter is important. because this connects to the next chapter. End of the chapter, Kashyap Muni with his one of his wife Aditi. We know Kashyap Muni has another wife called Diti, who gives birth to Hiranyaksha and Kaspu. We heard in the third canto. So this is Aditi. So the Aditi is the mother of demigods. So 12 Adityas are there, her sons it seems. Out of the 12 Adityas, some of them I'm listing here, primarily to show that one of the 12 Adityas is called Tvashta. He is important personality for the coming up chapters. So now, so in this line, Tvashta came. And Tvashta in marriage with another wife called Rachana, he gave birth to a son called Vishwarupa. This is also important because this is coming up in the next chapter also. So basically, Kashyap Muni and Aditi gave birth to 12 Adityas. One of the Aditya is Tvashta, their son is Vishwarupa. And interestingly, this Rachana, who he married, even though he's coming in a demigod's line, Rachana is coming from Daityas. Daityas means demons, it seems. That also becomes important as we hear about Vishwarupa's pastime in the next chapter. So now, demigods accepted Vishwarupa. So this also happens many times. Sukadeva Goswami summarizes the whole story, whole pastime into 1 or 2 verses. He's saying, demigod accepted Vishwarupa as their guru. Although he was son of the daughter of demons, Rachana, this was instructed because Brahma told the demigods to take shelter of Vishwarupa as his guru when they were abandoned by Brihaspati, their guru. Basically, Indra's Brihaspati, the guru of demigods, abandoned demigods. When the demigods were abandoned like that, Brahma guided them to accept Vishwarupa as guru. So why did Brihaspati abandon them? Because demigods disrespected them. All in 1 or 2 verses, he told the whole story. Now, in the next chapter, Parikshit Maharaj unpacks this story basically. So that's what we're going to see in this chapter. This chapter results in how Indra offends his spiritual master Brihaspati, and then how Vishwarupa teaches Indra the Narayana Kavacha. That summary is given. Narayana Kavacha chapter is coming up next one. So let me go through these sections one by one. We'll go through instead of overview itself. So remember, he told the whole summary, how demigods accepted, demigods disrespected Brihaspati, and Brihaspati abandoned them, and the demigods took shelter of Vishwarupa. Whole story he told, right? Now, Parikshit is asking details. Why did Brihaspati reject demigods? What offense the demigods did? Like that is probing. Actually, this is how we get many chapters of many pastimes actually. Otherwise, we would not know many of these pastimes. This is the inquisitiveness of the audience here, Parikshit Maharaj especially here. So in fact, it's described the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, hearer of Srimad Bhagavatam, and the inquirer of Srimad Bhagavatam all benefit very much in the process of glorifying the Supreme Lord like that. And the inquiry is so essential. It helps us to clarify our understanding properly. And sometimes it's a service also, because the doubt that we have may be the same doubt other person also has, but they may not have asked. Sometimes they may not have realized that they have that same doubt. So that's also is a service like that. So Parikshit Maharaj is doing a wonderful service for all our benefit. So he can unpack all these pastimes for our benefit like that. So Sukadeva Goswami said, so Sukadeva Goswami responding to Parikshit Maharaj's questions, where he wants to know the details, deep dive. Sukadeva Goswami says, once Indra became very proud and transgressed the Vedic etiquette. Why Indra became very proud? Sukadeva Goswami explains, Indra has so much opulence. He is surrounded by great personalities like Maruts, Vasus, Ashwini Kumaras, so many people he lists. And then he's praised by so many great personalities like Siddhas, Gandharvas, Charanas, like that, so many personalities he mentions. So they're glorifying him constantly. So then he's surrounded with royal paraphernalia. I don't know, I noticed this a few times in Bhagavatam. Apparently this white umbrella is a great opulence, it seems. It comes up many places. So he has a white umbrella, it seems, on top of his head. And then is fanned by yak-tail whisks. That means is served by great paraphernalia, wonderful paraphernalia, basically. That's the point. Because he's enjoying so much opulence like that, that is why he became proud. So, of course, recently we celebrated Govardhana Puja also. One of the lessons from Govardhana Puja is how, as devotees, we should not have pride. So, in the service of Krishna. That means, and how do we not become proud? When we understand our position in relation to Krishna very clearly. When we understand that everything I have, the body, the mind, intelligence, the ideas I'm getting, the ability to do something physically, mentally, everything I'm getting from Supreme Lord and other devotees and other living entities. When I understand this, then I will feel gratitude for other living entities, other devotees, and Supreme Lord. And I will never think, oh my God, I am so great like that. We never think. If you can imagine, this is important contemplation for us practicing devotees. Everything we have in life is given by somebody somehow. Our parents taught us how to walk, how to talk. That's how we started. And then our teachers taught so many things, how to learn a practice of serious study, how to maintain a discipline. That's all we learned in school, even if we did not learn, even if we are not using the chemistry, physics we are using in class. But they taught us some discipline in life that we can utilize for devotion service now. And then everything we know about Krishna and bhakti is told by some devotee to us. We were not born thinking that, oh, pure devotion service is anya abhilashta sunyam, nothing like that. Everything we learn from some devotee only. When we contemplate like this, we naturally develop gratitude and we naturally can remain humble and will never become proud. And this helps us to chant nicely also. So now going back here, so Indra offended his guru. How did he offend his guru? While he was enjoying with all these opulences in his assembly, Brihaspati happened to arrive in the assembly. And Brihaspati arrived, is not that Indra did not see. Indra saw him arriving. But naturally, when a great personality comes, it's a culture to receive them properly. The culture of receiving involves many things we know. Like Bhagavatam has many places how we should honor guests is described. But in this case, it's a guru only, even more great. So you should honor him. First of all, he should get up from his seat. Second of all, he should offer a seat to him. Third, we know how guest is to be treated. Give some water. Ask them if you like to have some food at that time. Would they like some rest? And then appreciate them. Speak some sweet words like that. None of this he did to show respect to his guru, Brihaspati. Then Brihaspati, even though his saintly personality, he didn't take, okay, now I'm going to curse you. You didn't respect me properly. Let me curse you like that. He didn't go like that. He silently withdrew from the assembly. He went away without telling anything to Indra, even though he had the capacity to curse Indra also. But we know when devotees are offended, Krishna takes it personally, even if devotee doesn't take it to heart like that. So the effect will be shown to Indra now. But Indra, interestingly, Indra being a devotee, Indra immediately realized, oh my God, I disrespected my guru and condemned himself. And he condemned himself in the assembly. That means he didn't think in the private, oh, I should not tell before them, but I messed up with my guru. Not a, he told everybody. That's a sign of humility actually. Even though he was proud a few minutes ago, we discussed. Sign of humility, he condemned himself before everybody in the assembly. Oh my God, I disrespected my guru, I insulted my guru, like that. And then his regret is described in several verses. I'm summarized it here. He's thinking, I'm very proud of my opulences. Actually, what learned persons want opulences like me? Because this opulence is causing me to develop demoniac mentality and to become proud like this. It's not nice. Who will want this kind of opulences? And if somebody thinks that if I'm sitting in the Vyasas and I'm sitting on Brahma's seat, I should not get up when respectful personality comes. I should not get up to offer respect. Then if somebody thinks like that, he doesn't know real dharma, like that he's saying. And then if people like me who are ignorant leaders, we actually mislead people to path of destruction. And if people put faith in ignorant leaders like me, they will sink. Like if you sit in a boat made up of stone, not wood. If boat is made of stone, how everybody sits in it will sink. Similarly, if somebody is following ignorant leaders like me, they will also sink in their life. They will not achieve perfection. They'll degrade in their consciousness. So then he thinks, I will now go down before Brihaspati. I'll go find Brihaspati, my guru, and I'll offer obeisance to him. I'll seek forgiveness to him, and I'll try to satisfy him. Like that, Indra is lamenting and regretting. And notice, he's not just sitting in lamentation. He's trying to do something constructively beyond that. That is a sign of beyond mode of ignorance. Sitting in lamentation, not doing anything about it is ignorance. But he's doing some practical thing to get out of it. So Indra goes and searches everywhere to Brihaspati's home and everywhere, but Indra cannot find Brihaspati. So he was very disturbed. He did not have any peace of mind, is described. So then, because Indra insulted his guru, Indra did not treat his guru nicely, Brihaspati nicely. Indra lost his powers. And on the other hand, the demons, we know this regularly in Bhagavatam, from Bhagavatam, demons and demigods regularly fight. What happens? And many times demigods win actually, but sometimes demons also win. This is one circumstance we'll see that demons will win in coming up verses. So, but while demigods insulted their guru, demons actually worshipped their guru Sukracharya nicely. They were very obedient to guru. That resulted in the success later on. So that's the point here. So when we worship our guru, when we take shelter of guru, when we obey instructions of our guru, we can succeed in our life. When we disobey instructions of our guru, when we displease our guru, we can never grow in devotion service. We hear many places, 10 offenses, we hear third offense, we hear in Yasha Prasad, Bhagavad Prasad, Yasha Prasada, Nagati Kutopi, will not achieve perfection without the, if we displease the guru like that. And then demigods approach Lord Brahma. Finally, this is another good sign they have. When they don't know what to do, they know that they need to submit to superior. That's another lesson we can learn. When we don't know, when we're bewildered, what to do, we don't know. When we're struggling with our sadhana, we need to consult our mentor, our guru, either Diksha or Shiksha Guru, and say, oh my God, suddenly something happened to me. I'm overwhelmed with disattachment. I'm not doing my sadhana properly. Can you please help me? Can you please give me some tips? What do you think? What can I do? Please guide me. Please bless me. Even if they pray for us, that's beneficial for us. Even if they don't give any practical advice, even if they think about us, even if they pray for us, even if they say that may you get out of this issue with sadhana, will definitely benefit. So that's the example we can learn from here. Demigods went to Lord Brahma and they took shelter of him and they sought instruction from him. And Brahma pacified the demigods of their anxiety by his great mercy and spoke like this. That is the next set of verses. He says, first he chastises a little bit and he's telling analyzing the root cause. Why demons are attacking them. He says, due to the madness of material opulence, he's talking to Indra. You failed to receive Brihaspati, your guru, properly. Thus, you offended your guru. And that is why you're facing this consequence. Even though you're actually very, very strong, you defeated demons many, many times. That means they're weak. But because when you disrespect, this is a purport point Prabhupada writes, when you disrespect superiors, our longevity, that means the lifetime reduces. And the results of pious activities we have done, they also reduce. And that way we get degraded. That is why we should never disrespect anybody, forget about superiors. Actually, when we treat others nicely with kindness, respect, and consideration of their services, then we get their blessings and well wishes. Through that, we can grow in devotion service because it's pleasing to Krishna. But if we hurt others, if we don't, if you're not sensitive to others, then what will happen? We'll get their curses only in our life. It can be very, very simple things. in life. Even while driving, we mess up somebody's path. They'll curse us. So we should be careful to respect superiors and respect everybody for that matter. So what is the principle to respect others? Considering that everybody is part and parcel of Krishna, and within everybody's heart, Krishna is there. That is a very principal thing we need to see, practicing, of course. Mahabhagavatas they can see naturally, but we are practicing. And then what is the he describes, Brahma is describing to demigods, what is the power of worshipping Guru? He's saying, see, you insulted Guru, you're suffering. See, the demons worship Sukracharya, that's why they gain so much strength now. They listen to their Guru and they worship them, they're gaining so much strength. And then he describes, you can actually get no misfortunes. If a king respects Brahmanas, cows, and Lord Govinda, there can be no misfortune for them. Like that, he is describing. We know from Lord Krishna's prayer also, right? Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanya Hitacha Jagatitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So that's what is Prabhupada touches on the purport also. Krishna, Brahmanas and cows are very, very dear to Lord Krishna as Govinda. So we should always respect them. We should always take care of them. We should always protect them. We should always strive to help them somehow or other by giving, helping in cow protection, by helping Brahmanas in their duties, by assisting them, by giving charity to them, like that. And then now he gives a solution to them. The solution he gives them is, why don't you go and accept Vishwarupa as your guru? He's actually son of Twasta. Twasta means, remember, Twasta is one of the Adityas, who is the brother of Indra in one sense. Because Aditya, demigods are all born from Aditi and Kashyap Muni. So his brother's son, they're asking him to make us guru, because he's a powerful Brahmana of great austerity, it seems. That's why they're asking. Why this relationship I'm telling in the next coming verses, that is important. We'll find out. And then he says, when you accept him as guru and worship him, by pleasing him, he will fulfill your desires. What is your desire? You want to win over the demons, right? So he provided, and he gives one caution. This becomes important in the coming chapters. Provided you tolerate Vishwarupa's inclination towards the demons also. Why? Remember, Vishwarupa's father is from demigod side, Twasta. Vishwarupa's mother is from the demon side, Daitya side, we heard. So that's why he's saying Vishwarupa has a soft corner towards demons also. So if you can tolerate that and you worship him and please him, you will get all the great things like that. But Indra doesn't pay attention to this caution he gave him. That we'll see in the coming verses. So that's how Brahma gave instructions to demigods. Now, having heard the instructions and solution from Lord Brahma, demigods go to Vishwarupa. Vishwarupa is the son of Tvashta, who is the one of the Adityas we heard. Yeah. So now demigods, when they go, they embrace Vishwarupa. So many times we hear this adequate point in the first canto also. Prabhupada writes, first canto, 10th canto, many places Prabhupada writes how when we go to elders, we pay obeisances to him. When we go to equals, we embrace them. Or when somebody younger is paying obeisances, we embrace them. Like that, Prabhupada writes this etiquette, giving example of Lord Krishna himself actually. Lord Krishna pays obeisance to Yudhishthir, he embraces Arjuna and Bhima, like that. Like that personal example gives. And then Nakula and Sahadeva pay obeisance to Lord Krishna, like that. That's a Vaishnava etiquette also. So like that, demigods went and embraced Vishwarupa. And then they start to explain why you should help them, why you should become their guru, and what help they need. Like that, they'll explain in the next set of verses. They're saying, we came to your ashrama like guests, so please fulfill your desires as we are on level of your parents. Remember how? Remember the relation we told? Vishwarupa's father, Tvashta, is like brother to Indra. They're all born of same mother and father. So in that sense, they're on level of your parents. And they say, highest duty of a son is to serve his parents. Everyone should be respected as a temple of Supreme Lord. This is a principle we talked about briefly already, that how everybody, so Krishna is in everyone's heart, right? So he's saying, highest duty of a son is to serve his parents. So you need to serve us, either as guests, think us as guests, then also you need to serve us nicely, help us. Think us as your parents, then also you need to serve, it's your duty. And then show compassion to us. Please mercifully relieve our, because we are in distress, you can relieve our distress also. Be merciful to us. Now they say, we accept you as our guru. Why? Because you are perfect Brahmana, because you are completely aware of Supreme Brahman, and by your power, you will easily get rid of our enemies also. So they're telling why they're doing also. Not only because of his great qualities in terms of Brahmanical qualities, but also his realization of Supreme and his power. Because of these three reasons, they're asking, we want to become your disciple. Please, we accept you as our guru, like that is saying. And then they're anticipating, he will say, how can I be your guru? You're like parents. You only told me just now that you're like my parents. So they're telling, age is of no consideration. Actually, you are a senior in realization. And education can be accepted from member of lower caste also. So that means these are also another important lessons for us. Sometimes, not sometimes, many times, devotees who are younger to me, I have a higher relation than me. So then I should be eager to learn from them, eager to be happy for their higher relations, be happy that they progress very nicely compared to me. Then we actually can benefit from their association. Otherwise, we cannot benefit from the association if we are envious of them. So that's one nice lesson. We should not think, oh, you know what? I came 10 years ago to Krishna consciousness. He came only 1 year ago. He should tell me, I should tell him. I should not listen to him. We should not think like that. Even many times, some younger devotees may have high realization. How is that possible? Because they might have done a lot more devotion service in the past life, number one. Number two, they may be practicing devotion service more sincerely than me in this life itself. Number three, they may be practicing devotion service more seriously than me. Naturally, they'll advance fast compared to me. That we'll understand, we should understand. Then we'll never think, I'm older, so that's why I'm great. We never come to that conclusion. So they're saying like that, you are senior in knowledge. That's why we can accept you as a guru, like that is they're telling. Now, Vishwarupa, after hearing their request that he should become their guru, right? He responds back. He's pleased with their request and replies, I agree for my own benefit. I'm your disciple and you are commanders of the universe. So I cannot refuse your request, like that he's saying. This again his humility. No, oh, you want to become my disciple? Great, you're doing the right thing. You're coming to me. He didn't say like that. This is a sign of Brahminical quality, that he has a nice humility. He's saying, he's actually feeling grateful that he's getting an opportunity to serve them. And he's thinking, it's my duty to serve you. So let me serve you. I cannot deny you, like that he's saying. And he's saying, priesthood is a condemned profession. Why is that? Apparently, the previous verse he says, actually, when somebody does paurohityam means conducting yagnas for others, actually they lose some of Brahminical power, it seems. I don't know the details behind that myself. That's how it's described in that verse. Then, but still he wants to do the service that is come to him. I cannot refuse even a small request from you, like that. He's accepting the service. Who is this? Vishwarupa. Now, Vishwarupa, again here, Sukadeva Goswami summarizes everything. Then Parikshit Maharaj will dive deep into in the next chapter for us. He says, Sukadeva Goswami, Vishwarupa becomes their priest, and then he does this service with so much enthusiasm and very great attention. He does his service like that. And then, employing Narayana Kavacha mantras, Vishwarupa took away the opulence of the demons and gave it to Indra. And broad-minded Vishwarupa. Why broad-minded? Because mother is from a demon's side. Still, he taught Indra the Narayana Kavacha that protected Indra and conquered the power of demons, it seems. Now Sukadeva Goswami summarizes in few verses the whole pastime. That Indra gave Narayana Kavacha to Vishwarupa, gave Narayana Kavacha to Indra. That's so he conquered the demons and he got back his kingdom like that. Now, in the next chapter, this is the summary of the previous chapter. In the next chapter, we'll hear Parikshit Maharaj digging deep. Let me look at the time. Okay, 7:45. Good. So let us see. In this chapter, this is a Narayana Kavacha shield, chapter title. This chapter is full of mantras only. Mantras. In fact, I know some devotees who chant this Narayana Kavacha every day. Of course, if you really need to chant Narayana Kavacha properly, you need to get trained from a Brahmana nicely how to do it. Because it's not just chanting mantras, you touch different parts of the body also. And not only that, you need to do it in a pure fashion. Whenever you're pure, whenever you're clean, in your clean surroundings, that time only you can do these things. Yeah? Not like Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Whenever so merciful, anywhere you can chant, any situation you can chant. Now, actually, Parikshit Maharaj asked for a deep dive. Can you tell me more? Can you tell me about the Narayana Kavacha that Vishwarupa taught Indra, please? Then Sukadeva Goswami goes further. Otherwise, we would not know this at all. Narayana Kavacha would not know it all. Unless Parikshit Maharaj inquired, we would not know this at all. Now, Sukadeva Goswami explains whatever Vishwarupa explained to Indra in terms of Narayana Kavacha mantras. In this chapter, he explains. So I summarized it briefly here without listing all the mantras, of course. So basically, first, remember I told you that before chanting these Vedic mantras, we need to be pure, clean, like that. So first he washes his hands. Vishwarupa instructs Indra to wash his hands and feet and do proper achamana and then wear ring made of kusha grass and face towards north side. And then couple of mantras that glorifying the holy name of Krishna directly. He asked them to chant, and these also Vedic mantras, starting with Om like that. And then he chants a whole bunch of mantras like this. One group of mantras offer protection by various forms of the Lord. That means by different incarnations, like Matsya, may Matsya incarnation protect you this way, may this Kurma incarnation protect you this way, like that. The essence principle is for any kind of protection in material life, we should only look towards Supreme Lord as shelter, not other demigods. Sometimes we go to astrologer. If he is not a Vaishnava astrologer, they'll tell us, oh, you worship this demigod, you worship this, you do this, that kind of things they'll give. But if you go to Vaishnava astrologer who is very, very qualified, he will tell us something that we can do in relation to Vishnu only. For example, read this chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam every day, like that kind of things. So, so it is important to seek shelter of Supreme Lord alone for any kind of protection we need. Even we celebrated Govardhan Giri pastime recently, right? Govardhan Puja. Even in that pastime, one of the important lessons we learn is that how Krishna protects his devotees always by lifting Govardhan Giri, he protected devotees. Not only that, he actually protected Indra. How? By cleaning his heart of the pride that he had, anger he had, by purified him. And he again reinstated him in Indra's position. He didn't say, now you're not qualified to be in Indra. You get down from position. No, he did not say that. He purified him and said, okay, go back to your position. Please rule nicely. Like that, Krishna always protects his devotees. So we can take that faith in that and always seek protection from Krishna only. So now he also chants mantras for protection during different parts of the daytime. Apparently, day is divided into different parts, it seems. So like different times of the like eight divisions or something like that. So that's what he describes, how they should be protected, how that parts of the day should protect him like that. And then he chants mantras that invoke protection by Lord's weapons. How club should protect me like this, how chakra should protect like this, like that. And then he invokes protection by different mantras, how protection of the Lord's various energies and different attributes of the Lord like that. And then final set of verses of this chapter, he describes the great power of Narayana Kavacha and the falasuti of those who hear this with faith. like that. Those who either chant this mantra, Narayana Kavacha mantras, are here with faith like that. First of all, he says we get the ability to conquer leaders of the demons itself. 1 minute. And then he says, anyone else, not only the person chanting the mantra, anyone else seen or touched is immediately freed of all fears and dangers. And no disturbance or danger from different entities, government, plunderers, thieves, evil demons, or disease, nothing will touch. Falsity is one who employs this or hears with faith is immediately freed of all dangers and is worshipped by all jivas. And then finally concludes Indra's victory. Indra won against the demons and enjoyed the opulence of 3 worlds by employing this Narayana Kavacha mantra basically. That's how he concludes this chapter. Now, somebody may say, oh my God, I'm chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day. I'm spending 2 hours every day. I didn't know this Narayana Kavacha. Maybe I should spend 2 hours of Narayana Kavacha, forget about Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Somebody can come to that conclusion. That's a wrong conclusion. Why? Because our acharyas coming from Lord Chaitanya himself and our scriptures prescribe Hare Krishna Mahamantra for this age of Kali Yuga. And our acharyas with their personal example and their personal teachings, they told us to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra regularly. So that's the right path for us. Of course, there is no harm if you have extra time. If you want to include this in your practice, sometimes there's no harm. But our main important thing that acharyas prescribe, we should never leave. Our sadhana is most important. These extra things, we should be very careful. So that doesn't mean that I'm minimizing the position of Narayana Kavacha, but whatever our guru is given us, we should follow very sincerely. That's how we can progress in the path of bhakti. Otherwise, so many scriptures are there, so many instructions are there. The way to progress in bhakti is under the guidance of spiritual master. That's why we hear the word guidance of spiritual master, guidance of spiritual master like that. So that's how we can practice bhakti. That is the 8th chapter. So let me see the time. 7:53. Okay, good. So now going to the appearance of demon Vritrasura. How did this come about? We'll see. Instead of going through the overview, I'll go through the individual slides themselves. Basically, remember Vishwarupa did the yagna for Indra, and then Vishwarupa gave him Narayana Kavacha to Indra, and then that's how he won over the demons we heard, right? Now something happened here. What happened is Vishwarupa, when he was doing yagna, Vishwarupa has 3 heads it seems, and he was with one head he can drink somarasa, another head he can drink wine, another head he will eat food it seems. I don't know why it's described, but the verses describe this portion also. Then apparently he's doing 2 things simultaneously when he's doing yagnas. While demigods are seeing, visibly is offering oblations for the benefit of demigods it seems, because they're related to his father's side. Remember, father is one of the Adityas, like that. But then he's secretly offering oblations to demons it seems, for the benefit of demons. Because from mother's side, the demons are also should benefit, because mother is from demon's side, maternal relatives. So Indra could not tolerate that. Oh my God, he's cheating. He's giving something to Indra, demons also. So he cuts off his head, Vishwarupa's head. Brahmana, who he accepted as guru, he makes another mistake, Indra here. So remember, when Brahma gave the instruction to Indra and demigods to accept Vishwarupa as guru, they said you have to tolerate his favoritism towards the favorable inclination towards his mother's side demons, like that he said, right? Indra forgot that point. So he cuts off the head of Vishwarupa. And the Indra suffers for that sinful activity of killing a Brahmana. So Indra doesn't say counteract the curse. He says, I don't want this curse anymore, like that. He actually accepts the curse with folded hands, is described here. And then he suffers the consequence of the curse also for 1 full year. And then after that, what does he do? He, to purify himself of the remaining sin. Remember, when he suffers, this is another important lesson. because he suffered for some time, the reaction of the curse is reducing. That means he has to suffer only a little bit more like that. That little bit more left of reactions, he distributed among earth, water, trees, and women, it seems. So what is the lesson from here? I was remembering there's a nice devotee called Adi Purusha Prabhu who teaches Bhakti Shastri in VIH, Vrindavan Institute of Higher Education. He tells this nice lesson. Of course, it's not a transcendental lesson like that. It's a simple lesson, but important. I like it. Basically, when we suffer something in our life, then actually we are reducing our negative karma. And the other point I like about it is that is everybody knows, right? Good karma you do, you enjoy. Bad karma you do, you suffer. That everybody knows. But the other point I like that he says is, when we take voluntary suffering in terms of voluntary austerity, for example, getting up in the morning is so difficult for me. But if I do that voluntary austerity to please Guru, to grow in devotion service, then actually burning off the negative karma, some of the negative karma also, he says like that. Why that is nice? Because now that negative karma could have caused some serious damage to me. Some big accident would have happened to me. Some dangerous disease would have come for me. But if I channel the same thing in doing nice austerities for my growth in devotion service, then actually I'm channeling the bad karma in a nice way. So I don't have to suffer wrong consequences that I don't want to suffer, right? Most of us want to enjoy, most of us don't want to suffer. So that's also achieved through devotion service nicely also. That is what I like. Of course, it's not the highest principle. Highest principle is to do devotion service, getting up in the morning to serve Krishna, to please Krishna. Okay, now going to the next section. What kind of benedictions? Remember, Indra distributed his sinful reactions to these four personalities: earth, trees, women, water. Because they took some share of his sinful reactions, Indra gave them some benedictions also. That's what is summarized here. So, because they took some sinful reactions, they suffered also. So, what benediction they got is in this column, and what sinful reactions they suffered is in this column. Because earth took the sinful reaction, the benediction he gave is ditches that come in earth would be filled automatically, it seems. How technology, how it happens, not described in the purport or verse. Okay. Then sinful reactions, because earth took some sinful reactions, earth will have some deserts where it is no water there, nothing, and the barren land, nothing can grow there like that. That is why some lands are barren because of some sinful reactions taken from Indra. And the trees, if you cut off the branches and twigs, they grow back. That is the benediction they gave, it seems. And then the sap flows from the trees. That is a sinful reaction, it seems. Effect of sinful reaction. And then the women, they can enjoy lusty desires continuously, it seems, for a long time, even during the pregnancy, as long as it's not injuring the embryo in the womb. And then because they took the sinful reaction from Indra, they have the suffering of a monthly cycle every month like that. And then the water, the benediction it got is, whenever the water is added to something else like milk, it can increase the volume of the milk, which many people use it in wrong way, right? But there's a benediction, it says. And then sinful reaction is, water will see bubbles and foam. Why is it not desirable, bubbles and foam? We know when we practice devotion, like deity worship, we are taught that bubbles and foam are not purity, not a symbol of purity, like that is understood. So then, so that's how what we had so far. Indra killed Vritrasura, or not Vritrasura, sorry, Vishwarupa. Because of that, he got he had to face the consequence of sinful reactions with a curse, and he distributed some of that to other people also. Earth, water, trees, and water we had. Now, after Vishwarupa was killed, his father Twasta became angry. And because he's Brahmana, he did a sacrifice with Vedic mantras to kill Indra. But he did one mistake. While chanting the Vedic mantras, instead of, he pronounced one mantra long, it seems. Actually, Vedic mantras are like that, so powerful. Even on our, actually one time Dravida Prabhu was telling us in one of the seminars that morning Samsardava prayers also, we should be careful. Yasya prasada bhagavat prasado, yasya prasada nagati kutopi, yasya, it seems elongated, it seems. Otherwise the meaning will change, it seems. So like that, so many things he used to tell. Namaste Saraswati Devi, it seems. Not Saraswati Devi. Saraswati Devi is goddess of Saraswati. Saraswati Devi means spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada, like that. Like that, Vedic mantras, unlike Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, if you say some wrong thing will happen. What wrong thing happened? Instead of getting a demon being born who will kill Indra, the demon was born who will be killed by Indra. That's what happened. And Prabhupada commonly tells about this also. That is, unlike Bhakti, Karma Kandas are like that. Whereas in Bhakti, Krishna understands our intention and gives some benefit still. Even we know some countries, they cannot pronounce Ra, it seems, in the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Still they chant and still they get benefit. And they are actually even more nicer devotees than people like me. Their wonderful submission, it seems, they have. That is the greatness of Krishna Bhakti. So then a big demon was born. And the demon was so big that is covering all planetary systems with apparent systems. That's why he was called as Vritra. He was named as Vritra, covering all places, it seems. And he was very, very fearful to look at. And demigods, as soon as they saw this demon Vritrasura, they started attacking with so many weapons. But Vritrasura was so big and so strong, he swallowed all the weapons, nothing happened to him. And then demigods naturally, wow, what can we do? None is not in our powers, they understood. And this is one good quality of demigods. They understood what is in their capacity, what is not in their capacity. So they went back to worship the super soul. That is another lesson we can learn. Whenever something is not in our control, we take shelter of the Supreme Lord. We take shelter of Bhakti nicely. Of course, taking shelter doesn't mean we pray to Krishna. Krishna, solve this problem. Krishna, solve this problem. That's not what we're not telling. Taking shelter of Krishna means we know that's the only thing we can do. Then Krishna, whatever he desires, he can arrange in our life. Whether he can take away the problem if he wants, or he can give a lesson for us from that problem so that we can grow in devotional service, for example. Like that, whatever he wants, he can do. But we take shelter of Krishna. So they offer beautiful, beautiful, long, long prayers. Some of the overview I'm giving here. They're saying, let us take shelter of Lord, whom even time fears also. And a person desiring protection without approaching Supreme Lord is certainly grateful, who tries to cross the sea by holding a dog's tail. Because when you hold a dog's tail in the sea, they cannot float, they'll sink. So like that, if you don't take shelter of Supreme Lord, but something else, someone else, is not a good thing, good proposal. It's a foolish proposal, they're saying. And they're saying, actually, Lord protected several times. He protected Manu as Matsyavatara. And Brahma was also saved by the Lord. Like that. And though Lord is present everywhere, we cannot see him because we have material senses. But we pray that he gives us mercy. By his mercy, he becomes visible to us in these eyes. And may he protect us. Like that they're praying. Let me see time. It's 8:04. I think I'll cover a couple of few more minutes briefly, if it's okay, unless somebody thinks we should stop right here. Yeah, I'll cover just few more minutes, so we go to the end of this chapter at least. So when they prayed to Supreme Lord like that, Supreme Lord personally appeared before demigods, listening to their prayers. And how did he appear? He appeared with his weapons, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, four-handed form. And he first appeared within their hearts, it seems, and then appeared before them, in front of them, face to face. And then he also appeared along with other devotees, personal attendants, 16 personal attendants. What are they doing? They're around him and they're serving him in different ways. And they appeared in appearance exactly like him, like 400 forms, like Vishnudutas, we heard the description earlier. So this again, we were discussing yesterday, I think, how Prabhupada used to say, Supreme Lord is never alone, is always with his devotees. That is shown here again one more time. And then demigod saw beautiful lotus-eyed Supreme Lord, smiling and overwhelmed. And they finally offered obeisances, dandavat pranam to them. And then they got up slowly and they offered some more prayers again to Supreme Lord like that. So some of the prayers are here. They say, we offer prayers to you because you are the bestower of all results of sacrifices. You release chakra to kill demons. You have many, many names. We cannot understand Vaikuntha Loka. We and then they glorify him with different names of him. And then say, we cannot understand you, realize you properly, but topmost sannyasis can realize you. We cannot understand your actual position. All kinds of contradictions are realized in you, reconciled in you. You also function like a super soul, accompanying each of the jiva, guiding them, sanctioning what they deserve and desire. And you also, please take another incarnation for us. Nothing is unknown to you. You already know why we are praying to you. You already know what distress we are in. So please fulfill our purpose. Please annihilate this Vritrasura demon. Like that, they offer beautiful, beautiful prayers culminating in the request. So I'll pause here. We'll continue with the how Supreme Lord instructs the demigods based on these prayers. So maybe I'll just summarize briefly. Today, let me go to my book also so I can see that while we're summarizing. That's it, chapter titles I can see. So basically, in last few days, we heard about how bhakti is the topmost, and Ajamila case study was given by Sukadeva Goswami to show practically how bhakti and chanting of the whole name is very, very glorious. After that, based on Parishad inquiries, we heard about the descendants of Daksha and how Haryasvas and Savalasvas were delivered by Narada Muni with his wonderful transcendental instruction and his association, personal association. And we heard how Daksha cursed him. And we heard about Narada Muni, after delivering his sons, he goes to Daksha thinking that he may be in right position to hear transcendental knowledge now. And then he also patiently listens to his anguish and curses to see maybe he'll be in right position to listen to transcendental knowledge. That's the saintly personality. We heard about that. And then we heard about how Indra offends his guru Brihaspati. Because of that, he loses his power, and demons, because they are worshipping Guru, they gain power and they win over Indra's kingdom. So that time they go to Brahma, and Brahma instructs them to take shelter of Vishwarupa as a guru, and cautioning him at the same time to tolerate the favorable inclination towards his mother's side, demon side, like that. So Indra takes shelter of Vishwarupa, and Vishwarupa actually gives him Narayana Kavacha. Through that, he can gain back the kingdom. But next chapter we heard how well Vishwarupa, while doing the yajna, he was actually favoring the demons also. He was offering oblations for demons also. That Indra did not like, and out of anger, he could not control, and he killed Vishwarupa also. That time, Indra got cursed, and he suffered the sinful reactions for 1 full year, and then rest of them he distributed among earth, water, trees, and what is the other thing? I forgot the other thing. Earth, water, trees, and women. Yeah, 4 of them. He distributed them, and he gave some benedictions also because they're suffering on behalf of him, like that. And then we heard about the pastime further, where Vritrasura's father was not happy. Vishwarupa's father, Tvasta, was not happy. He did a yagna, but by mispronunciation, he gave birth to a demon who will get killed by Indra instead of killing Indra, like that. That was Vritrasura, big demon. And demons tried to fight him, demigods tried to fight him, they could no use. So they started praying to Krishna, Supreme Lord, and Supreme Lord in 400 beautiful form, he came before them, and then they offered more praise to Supreme Lord, and specifically asked him, please take care of this Vritrasura demon, like that. Up to that we covered. Tomorrow we'll cover response of the Supreme Lord to the demigod's prayers and request of killing Vritrasura. There's a beautiful section coming up, Vritrasura and Indra's fight, how we can see the nice devotee attitude toward in Vritrasura, even though he's a demon, like that. Yeah. So we can pause here and continue tomorrow. I'll pause here in case anybody wants to have any comments or questions. We can take the time now. Hare Krishna Prahlad Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
No problem. Very nice. One thing which you cleared was, I was really happy about it, this Namaste Saraswati Devi. A lot of people say Saraswati Devi. I've been noticing that so much. Anyway, the second thing I want to in that connection is, Mukam Karudi Vachalam Pangum. Some people say Langayate, and some people say Langayate. So which one is the correct one? Do you have any idea?
Oh, I don't know readily, Prabhuji. I can look up the verse, Prabhu, and clarify for you
Okay.
next session. Yeah.
The thing is, I attended a course which is called Spoken Sanskrit, and I was asking Prabhuji that, what was this? Then he said that Langayati is correct.
That's
That's what he said like that. But, he didn't give me much explanation about that.
Okay.
So anyway, I just wanted to get it cleared from several sources so that I'm pronouncing it properly. Another thing I wanted to ask was, see, Vishwaru had 3 heads, right?
Yeah.
And he gave Narayana Kavach to Indra. Why was he himself was not protected, being killed by Indra? Even he had the Kavach. Actually, he is the one who gave to Indra.
He's the one?
He's the one who gave Narayana Kavach to Indra.
Yeah. Correct.
Right? Then himself was killed by Indra. So
why he himself was not protected by Narayana Kavach, like that you're saying? Yeah. Correct, Prabhuji. I don't know the answer to that myself, Prabhu. I didn't hear anything from Acharyas. I can look up if there's anything in the Vishwanath Chakravarti commentary. Prabhupada purpose doesn't have anything, I remember at least.
Yeah, I did research, but I could not come to the conclusion. Then I said, okay, I'll ask.
Yeah, I don't know, Prabhu. I can
so if you
speculate.
did, let me know, if you can get some info on that. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu, for nice sharings also. I will check if there is anything in the commentary about that, about why he could not save himself, Vishwarupa himself like that. Sure, Prabhuji. If I find something, I'll share. Yeah, I didn't hear anything personally so far from devotees. Thank you, Prabhuji. Any other comments or questions? Oh, chat, there is something. Let me see. Oh, class tomorrow. Yeah. Actually, I was supposed to cover 12 chapters in the last 3 days. And I could not finish all the 12 chapters in 3 days. That's why I was thinking I can take one more session to cover the rest of the 3 chapters. If that is okay for all of you tomorrow. If that's not okay, then we can figure out Monday or something. I can ask administrators what they like to do. Yeah, that's why I was thinking we can have a class tomorrow. Anybody has objections to that?
It's okay for me, Prabhuji.
No objection, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah, sorry, I could not cover it in as per that schedule. That's why I'm requesting here. Thank you. So we'll have the session tomorrow, and we'll cover the rest of the chapters. It's a nice section to listen next section. Okay. Yeah, we can end here then. Namo Namaha. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, devotees. Hare Krishna.